So the nationalism being what it was, see this is called the nationalism. When some democratization of the benefits was being accorded, that's against the custom. What is the custom and tradition? Custom and tradition is Varnashrama Dharma. And it is very clear everywhere. Except of course Mr. Gandhi was a little simpler and he directly put it. But all others were saying the same thing. And some were vaguely saying the same thing. Some were unconsciously enjoying the benefits of the same thing. But whatever it is, you should not oppose nationalism. This is not nationalism. You see, we all do social sciences because we read what is called the theory and comparative theory, what happens in other countries and so on, so forth, and what happens in our country. Ambedkar did that. How was the ruling class in Japan? How was the ruling class in France? And what is our ruling class, etc., etc. If somebody says you are an anti-national, you will get cowed down, we are an anti-national. Where is the nation to begin with for me to be anti? Tell me, where is the nation? I think maybe you should ask Arnab Goswami. I think he seems to know it well. The nation demands to know. No? I mean, we are not in the media, we are seriously reflecting for social transformation. There is no nation here. There is no nation here. And nation is a vital, foundational for anything good to take place within the country. I tell you this, the nexus between the national consensus is foundational for all planning processes, policy processes, and also struggle processes and bureaucratic processes, etc., etc. If nationalism, there is no consensus and it goes wrong, distorted, everything else will be vitiated. We don't have social science in our country. We don't have an educational system in our country. Kuch bhi chalta hai, no? That's a kind of thing. No? Then I'll come to that. No? Remember, we are trying to find out how caste should be abolished. Caste was brought back effectively into modernity by a political will. Political will. So there is a caste, multiple castes that has existed. That caste, sometimes it's going, sometimes it's getting strong, sometimes it is not there, sometimes it is there. All that kind of thing there. Over and above that, caste has been modern politically brought back. You see? Tradition retrieved, tradition invented, tradition, whatever you can call them. Now, it is this very same political which rejected all questions as social, you see, that came to be institutionalized as the Indian state. And people may read a lot of theories of state. But they all will start when it comes to India, the Indian constitution. Or somebody very progressive ones will read, some constitution assembly debates. How the political force with a very specific ideological formation rose, became successful and claimed to establish the state, and the state gets the nature of that political force. So the Indian state is casteist. Many of my Dalit friends will oppose that. I don't bother about that, but truth is the truth. State is a casteist state. Because it's a caste was the inspiration behind the founding of this Indian state. How things ought to be. They knew very well. They know very, very well how things ought to be. And accordingly, to cut the story short, accordingly, all the policies that are being followed afterwards is a casteist policies. What do I mean by casteist policies? Non-universal policies. Non-universal policies means non-egalitarian policies. The single most important arena in which nation will have to reproduce itself and ready itself for modernity is education. See the scenario that is in. Varnashrama will be reproduced because the select group of people will do CBSE and write NEET exam. The Shudras will write state board. The state board is there. Oh, you studied in state board. You are like a Shudra, no? That's a kind of thing like that. And the night schools and the village schools will be still worse than that. Reproduction of the Varna, hierarchical. Languages we have being reproduced as a Varnashmic order of languages. The almighty Sanskrit, with the peddling as spelled as Hindi, and then the official languages, then the small languages. Office language is called official language. The twist in Hindi is the office language or official language. And of course, it's a national language for many in the north, at least. In colleges and universities, Avarna Savarna is very clearly, central university, who apparently have some horns. So their retirement period is later, and their bhatta and other things are a little higher. And there will be less classes, they are intellectual people. They won't even they'll come only on the class days, and only for the class and go back. Well, others have to slog in these regional colleges, 10, 12 hours of teaching and, guiding the students to learn to write English and all that kind of thing. We have a law and order. We have some lathi wielding police fellow. If the two fellows are fighting, this fellow will try to look into something and pass away. The fight will resolve itself. If the fight doesn't resolve itself, he watches who is getting the upper hand. And then he will go on side with him, and then he will solve the problem. But actual serious law and order, of course, is the CRPS to come. CRPS to come. The very state arrangements, there is a central state. There is a regional states. There is a panchayati states. They are also elected members. They come to their position as mukhyas and other sarpanch and so on, getting elected by people. Threefold Varna. Actually, originally, the Aryan social organization had only threefold. When they came in contact with the rest of the group in India, they added the fourth one. Professor Mani was saying yesterday, about how the whole cosmos has been hierarchicalized. The birds, the flora and fauna and all that, in order to justify the human hierarchical organization. All this came to be revived and codified, sanctified, and a single formulation and so on. The nation became dominated by the ideology. A sectarian way and view of life that is Brahmanical became the ideology, ideology of modern India. And it is this political force that constituted the state, proliferation of sectarian policies. How do we remove caste? Serious anti-caste movements are legitimately dubbed as anti-national. You are destroying, attempting to destroy, or envisaging to destroy, or hoping or dreaming to destroy the very foundation of this nation state. You can't abolish caste in India, I tell you. You can't abolish caste in India. We keep that as a rhetoric, we make it as a preface before our meetings. And then, of course, the fight is for reservation. Here, there are two things. One is emancipation and another is empowerment. They are two different things. Empowerment simply says, I don't mind what is the framework within which I am asked to operate. I want a parity of status within the existing framework. Emancipation would stand back and question the whole thing and then say, this has to be, these are your rules. You didn't get it through a consensus from us, so this has to be removed. Baba Sahib clearly said that we don't want your amelioration. The amelioration was the word he used for all these, crumbs that state throws to people. You remove caste and see who gives competition to whom. Of course, finally he had to recapitulate himself because he was working in India. He said, okay, satisfied with the empowerment. All our struggles here also, we claim and preface it as an empowerment proposal, but we end up as an emancipation proposal, but end up with an empowerment proposal. We should realize if we fight against caste, The very soul of India will be attacked. Very soul of India. You see? And also there is another reason why we cannot abolish caste in India. India is a new construct over the head of all the regional polities, different linguistic cultures and so on. It's a kind of political construct, which is not an actual thing. So they propose caste and we oppose caste. It's like the Don Quixote, fighting with the windmill. It doesn't affect anybody, Doesn't affect anybody. Our anti-caste rhetoric doesn't affect anybody. Because we ourselves have said caste means only Varna, excusing ourselves and all forms of chauvinism, all forms of localism, all forms of caste associations and so on. Modernity requires the abolition of all. Every country is trying to abolish that. Every country has vowed to abolish that, though in practice many are practicing and so on. That's a different thing. But here is a one country which justifies the principle of casteism as the only sole legitimate thing. And academics write about it. It's not for nothing that academics get a mind-boggling amount of money, filthy amount of money every month. No? It's much more than many of our industrialists and capitalists will be making outside. But there is no moral voice to suggest, say we have heard enough here. But distribute it to other people, recruit more people and distribute. No. That it can come at least after having known, it will not be affected, nobody will pay no attention to that. Even then we will not raise that voice. The other reason why caste cannot be abolished is that, caste is an inequality. To begin with, caste was never experienced as inequality by our nationalist people. And the postmodernist hi-fi people, they said it's a difference. It's not a discrimination, difference, and postmodernism, multiplicity, plurality and all that. Now, actual inequality can be dismantled. We can struggle for dismantling. But not an ideological and a conceptual reality of inequality. Now, where is this actual the formation of inequality in perspective of caste? Is, I suggested as earlier, the multiplicity of caste systems we have. Multiplicity of caste systems we have in the regional cultures. As I also suggested, there is a different way in each places where the lower are related to the upper echelons and so on. We cannot have a universal law. If you have an universal strategy, what happens? We have to follow ditto to the lowest substratum of the entire India. 2000 or more years have gone. Differences have developed and multiplicity has developed, and then now we say there is one caste and one strategy to abolish it. It's simply not possible. Many of us who have walked for long distance will be asked to go back to join the friends who have not started taking a single step and then follow their route.